Okay, with that weird and awkward silence of staring at the chat, I think we'll begin the show for today. We have a very smart and silent crowd, I guess. But still, throughout the session, if you have any questions, make sure you post them either in the Q&A box or the chat box. And if you're watching this live on YouTube, use the chat box to drop in any questions that you have through the session. And the session is again called Guidebook to the ZEPETO World Jam. And we have an amazing team from ZEPETO. We have Benjamin, we have Stephanie, we have Mondul, we have John, we have Julius, who are going to be our mentors and speakers for today. And they are going to take us through the journey of what you will need to know about the World Jam, how to form teams, what are the APIs and development tools that you need, the resources that are available for you in the participants guide, and how to reach the mentors in general through the World Jam whenever you have any questions. With that, I'm Harish. I'll be the host for you today, and I will be the one picking any questions at the end of the session where we will have an AMA dedicated just to answer all your questions. So if you have any questions, post them at any time in the Q&A box again. And with that, I will hand it over to the ZEPETO team to take over.
Thank you, Harish. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here with us. This is Ben from the developer relations team. Like Harish said, we're going to have people from different backgrounds in our team today. And we're going to be talking about some of the essentials that you need to get started to build on ZEPETO. We're going to talk about the resources that we have available for you. That includes the development, technical tools, also the people that are at your disposal. We're going to review a timeline, and then we're going to have plenty of time to go over any questions that you guys have. So please feel free to send them over. I know we have a good number of participants in Korea, as we are a Korean company. Send your questions in any language. We'll do our best to answer them. We have people who speak English here. We have people who speak Thai. We have people who speak Korean, people who speak Spanish, and I'm sure there's other languages that our team can handle. So don't be shy. But yes, I'm going to hand things over to John Lee. He's one of the technical evangelists on the ZEPETO team.
Thanks, Ben. Hope everyone's preparation for the World Jam is going really well. We have a lot of information planned for you guys today, some of which you may already know, some of which you might be seeing for the first time. But to begin, we're going to go into a bit about what we feel are the essentials of game development and the core skills that go into creating a successful world. So if you're a part of this World Jam, I'm sure all of you are already familiar with this concept to some degree. Game development is the process of bringing an idea you have to life in the form of a video game. However, just the same as maybe your body needs a lot of independent parts to work together, game development in the same way requires a lot of specialties that make a game that's not only fun for you, but for the community that you're targeting as well. So we believe that there's 4 parts to this kind of metaphorical body that we've put together. First part is the programmer. So we call programmer the mind because these are the people that process information and spits out some sort of output. So there's a lot of different focuses that programming can have. There's front-end programming that handle gameplay, UI, UX programming, et cetera, and the back-end that maybe handle server-side code, data, things like that. However, as much as we have a lot of output here, without any kind of input, there can't be anything visually functioning on screen. So who provides that input? So the artists. The artists are the people that actually put everything together that you see on screen. And honestly, how many of you guys would play a game where there's nothing to shoot at and no gun to shoot at, right? So artists can have focuses in a lot of different areas like 2D texture, UI art, 3D character, environmental art, even technical artists that have a mix of programming and art that write shaders that create materials. So we have artists and the programmers so far, but that's not all you need to make a good game. We also need designers as well. So designers, as much as artists and programmers might like to create the game that we want, we can't always do that. We're not the only ones playing the games. Our audience will be our target. So they're the ones with the wallet. They're the ones with the thumbs over the review buttons. So it's the designer's job to understand the market like the back of their hand and their respective team's target audience to create a game that's best tailored for their audience. Designers, again, have a lot of different specialties like the game designer, level designer, and each have a certain level of business sense to know how best to design the game to take charge of the different conversations when it comes to what goes into the game. So we talked about a lot of these roles so far, but not everybody's good at keeping track of what they're doing and communicating that information to their team. And often it can be pretty frustrating to try to sync up your current tasks with your respective team tasks, and it ends up like kind of creating a messy workflow with everyone all over the place. So that's where the product manager comes in, product management comes in. So this is essentially the captain of the ship, the one in charge of making sure everything is working smoothly and in sync. And they take the pressure off the developers to reach out to person X to get this asset done before they work on the next section. Like they don't have to worry about that stuff. This is the person that's gonna make sure that everything is working smoothly, in sync, everybody's working together well. Nobody's waiting on any one particular individual to finish their asset or their particular piece of code or waiting on design to come through. The producer is kind of the person in charge of making sure all of this is working together. So I know a lot of you during this World Jam might kind of like to do lone wolf, but try to use this opportunity to work together as a team. As a solo developer, you have so many parts to work to worry about, to think about, and you need to split yourself over 4 different responsibilities and try to manage all of it together. As much as it might be easier to try to like not worry about communication, but again, like that's what the producer is for. That's what the project manager is for. That's what designers are for. Artists, each person has their own unique set of skills. So try not to work alone and use the skill sets of others as kind of a force multiplier, and keep your work as focused on what you're doing specifically as possible. So definitely reach out to your team, try to form a team, and if you can, work together.
Mondul, you're muted.
Hi guys, this is Mondul. I'm also part of the Tech Evangelist team. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about the tools and the resources that you will need to make a world. Now, before we do that though, let's take a look at a world that was made by the tools and resources that I'm about to talk about right now. So let's go ahead and play this video. This is Runway Z, a very popular world on ZEPETO. And if you haven't played it yet, definitely take a look at it. It's super fun and super well made. So go ahead and, John, if you could play that video. So yes, guys, this is a fashion game where you go in, put on fashion items, and then you compete with fellow competitors, and you then vote to see who did the best job at completing whatever feed that you're supposed to complete. Yeah, it's a really cool world. Definitely check it out. I love just jumping in there every once in a while and just playing through and trying to see if I can get first place in this. But yeah, this is definitely a cool world to check out. All right, so let's go on to the next slide. So tools for world creation. What are the tools that we need to make something like Runway Z? Like what would we need to make that world? So let's take a look at what those tools might be. Well, the first thing is, this is Unity. Unity is basically a game development engine, and it's used for multi-platform game development. So basically it's used to make games from anywhere from mobile phone to PC to VR. But this engine allows you to basically put art and code and design together to make a world. So that's the tool. That's the main tool we'll be using to make worlds in ZEPETO. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next slide. All right, so the next thing we need to do is, well, if you look at the Runway Z game, you'll notice that there's like avatars in the game. Those avatars are actually ZEPETO avatars in the game. And how do we actually load that into Unity? Well, Unity has a plugin that you can install, and this plugin is a thing that allows you to do many things, but one of the things that allows you to is to actually load your avatar into Unity so you can run around. So that's the plugin that you'll need to install to actually hook into ZEPETO and import those avatars into Unity. So let's take a look at the next slide. All right, this is going to be a quick demo just to show you how easy it is with one line of code that you can actually make a ZEPETO character show up in the world. So let's take a look at this video real quick. So the first thing that's going to happen here, you need to make this ZEPETO players component. Once you add it, then you can add a ground plane so that when the character loads in, which you only have to basically write this one line of code. If you write this one line of code, and then if you just hit play after you do all those little steps, there you go. You see your character, and take a look at this. It's actually really cool because it provides you with a character controller. So you don't have to make any of that. That's actually automatic with just that one line of code. So that's pretty cool, right? Like it's, as you can see from this, you can see like, oh, let's say I want to add like the ability to buy some clothing, and then I want the ability to do multiplayer. Well, it's the same idea. You just basically add a component and a few lines of code, and you'll be able to get that part of the game up and running, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at the next section. All right, so now you have your world. So let's say you have your world, you're running around in Unity. Let's say it's a shooter, or maybe it is a fashion game like Runway Z that we saw earlier. Well, the one thing you're probably going to want to do is, now you're in Unity on your computer. Well, the screen's pretty big. So how do you know if your UI is the correct size? Do things read properly? Is your camera too far away? So those kinds of questions. The best way to answer that, test on mobile device, right? You want to test on device because when it comes time to share your world, everyone's going to be looking at your world through your device. So there's a really quick and easy way to do that. You take a look at this first part here, local testing to device with QR code. All you have to do is click one button. It provides you a QR code. You scan it with your phone, and then boom, your world you made actually just appears on the phone. Now, the other part of it is, as John was talking earlier, if you have a team, you're going to want to distribute this world to your other teammates, correct? So what you can do here, very simple. You just need to put in the names of your teammates, your ZEPETO IDs, and then with that, you can copy a link, send it to them, and they'll also be able to test the world that you just created on their mobile device as well. And then the final part of this is when it comes time for the end of the game, World Jam, when you have to publish this world so everyone can see, it's really, really simple. You just enter a few things like the title of your world, and then you just hit submit for review, and you can go into the app and you'll see your world, and so can everyone else that participates in this World Jam. All right, let's go to the next part. And yeah, so now I'm gonna go ahead and pass this off to John, and he's gonna talk to you about our resources and how to use them.
Thank you so much for that rundown, Mondul. Yeah, so the World's Jam is just really around the corner. So we really want to encourage you to take advantage of as many resources as possible so that when the game jam, World Jam kicks off, you're all ready to go. So just so it's crystal clear to everyone where to find everything, I'll take some time now to walk you through some of our resources and different sections on where you can find all of this. So first thing is going to be this participants guide. Anyone that registered for the World Jam should be able to find an email with the link to this participants guide. So if you can find this, double check your email to make sure you have this link. And this is really where you're going to find all of the information. The team formation stuff that Stephanie shared earlier is all in here as well. I want to focus down here in the resources for understanding our API. So we have kind of split into 4 different sections here for you to kind of interpret and digest this information in the easiest way that we thought was possible. First step is going to be installing your environment. So these are all of the links that are necessary to install. So this is just a quick intro of what it is, what our API is, and second is going to be actually installing Unity. Kind of notice that it's this specific version. So again, keep that in mind. Next is installing your IDE, preparing the plugin, setting up your console. All of this stuff is going to be here along with the short description. Chapter 2 is going to go into the different classes and API functions that we have. Things like IWP, multiplayer, data saving, a couple like beginner guide videos that we really encourage you to go through, starting from part 1 all the way up to part 7 about kind of from start to finish creating a very simple world. The other thing is going to be here that we want you to take a look at as well. So this is really kind of a crude demo video that we put together, but this is going to take you through the advanced of everything multiplayer. So those of you that want to explore multiplayer in more detail, please take a look at here of our multiplayer 4-part tutorial, as well as the GitHub project that you can download, explore, take a look at. Next section is testing your world. So this again is the part that Mondul had explained. QR code testing, uploading to the console, all of that stuff is going to be in here. Last thing is a couple additional resources that we found that we feel might be interesting for you to take a look at. There's things like leaderboard, item creation videos that Julie has put together. This is a very, very high quality video that I highly encourage you to take a look through. Also kind of obstacle course sample project that we think really might be useful as well. This is a fully multiplayer project. So yeah, so these are all the resources that we really encourage you to take a look through during the World Jam or in preparation for the launch. The other kind of resources, this is our full kind of guide page. All of our kind of updates from our various API versions are all on here. Everything regarding the different scripting and TypeScript related stuff, then installation, all of that stuff is also in here. So anything that you don't see in the participants guide, please take a look through the Naver Z website, the ZEPETO guide website to kind of explore around the other aspects of our API. So with that, we want to kind of challenge you here. So we want to kind of provide you with a little bit of a quest here. So this presentation will also be kind of provided to you individually. So please kind of take a look through these links and try kind of getting a sample world up. So we want you to install Unity and the ZEPETO plugin and load ZEPETO character into Unity and then build using the QR code. These are very kind of intro steps that you saw in that kind of 30-second clip. And we're going to have a code along session prepared for you guys with like a really kind of like a project that Mondul and I are putting together in preparation for that code jam. So we have a really, really exciting project for you guys to kind of walk you through kind of the advanced exploring our API and coding, things like that. So we definitely encourage you to have these steps ready before the code along begins so that you guys aren't lost during that code along session. Next, I'm going to pass it on to Benjamin, who's going to go into mentors and setting up those sessions.
Thank you, John. Hi again. John, let's go on to the next slide, please. So I'm just going to briefly talk about the mentoring, what the mentoring is like on the World Jam. We went over several of the other resources on the participants guide. The second category here includes everything on mentors. So that red box, just scroll down, click on where it says mentoring, and then you'll be able to see a list. Yeah, just go with it. Thank you, John. You'll be able to see a list of our mentors panel. It's a big list of people. There's, I think, yeah, more than 15 people in there, people from all sorts of backgrounds. Some of them have built things on ZEPETO already. They've published them. You know, Mondul showed us that world earlier, Runway Z, for example. One of the developers behind that world is one of the mentors. And you can read about these people. So you can click on Mondul's avatar, read his bio, see what his specialty is. Maybe you want to look at someone who's an expert in 3D items. You look at that category, you see who's available. You see if that's who you want to talk with. Maybe you want to talk with several people. Then when you identify who you want to talk with, you need to submit a form, very similar to the previous Google form. Here, you'll enter your email, your name, you'll select the time when you're going to talk with this person, and you need to select the topics that you want to speak with them about. So this is a perfect opportunity for you guys to pick the mentor's brain on really anything. Anything is fair game. If you want to talk with Henry about how he came up with the idea for Runway Z, you can do that. If you want to ask him how he implemented in-world purchases in Runway Z, you can do that. Or if you want to run your game, your world idea by any of the mentors, you can do that. So this is super easy, but we want to make sure that you guys know that this resource is available. And you should feel free to book different slots with different mentors. Like I said, we have people that can provide guidance on many different topics. And back to the very beginning of today's conversation, John was talking about the different skill sets that game development, and in our case, world development, requires. We're filling all of those knowledge bases with people on our team who are here to support you. So if you want to learn more about programming, or you want to learn more about game design, you can speak with several people, several mentors who can give you valuable perspectives on those topics, and ultimately they're going to make your world development experience easier. Super straightforward, but all of this really is on the participants guide. A couple tips for the mentor discussions. Definitely prepare questions ahead. These sessions are 15-minute meetings. It will always be helpful if you reach out to them directly on Discord and you share those questions. That way, you know, the mentors can do their own research before the calls and can provide you with more information. And like I said earlier, don't be shy to meet with several people. And if there's time, meet with the same people several times if you need to follow up. We're there to help. Lastly, I want to share a brief reminder of the schedule of the ZEPETO World Jam, the next couple events leading up to the start. So January 30th, that's when the World Jam begins. The following day, we have our first code along workshop. So we're going to be coding by your side in a call, showing you guys how to start programming on ZEPETO Studio. We're going to start with very simple concepts, and we're going to scale that up to more advanced topics, where we're going to be talking in the second session about positioning players, schema setup, multiplayer setup, client-server communication. Very interesting things that are going to be super valuable when you guys are actually building. Mentor office hours start on February 6th. We have 4 different sessions. different time zones. We have people all over the world, so there's time for you guys to meet with people from all around. We're also hosting 2 community jam sessions. These are opportunities for you to get together with your teams or with potential teammates, with us, and figure out how to best build these worlds together. Then towards the end of February, you guys will all be much closer to completion with your projects. We're going to be talking about how to submit the final builds, the final worlds, to be able to publish them on the platform. And the submission deadline is February 26th at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Next, early March, the judging panel will be getting together. They'll be playing all of these worlds, evaluating all of them, and we'll be announcing winners on March 17th. And lastly, to wrap things up, we have time for a Q&A session. So this is an open forum for everyone in the audience to ask us questions. Really, any topic that we've covered today or anything else that you guys need information about. You guys can drop the questions in the chat. Yes, we'll be here.
Great. I think I can start with the first question that we have in the chat. Is I've already downloaded and tested the sample projects. There are many errors in the project. How can they get help?
So I believe I know what you might be talking about. I think a lot of those projects are kind of outdated in terms of the versions. So I'd recommend maybe kind of upping the package version up to the latest version that we have, and then see if that fixes it. Otherwise, reach out to our Discord in the tech questions channel, and then we'll kind of walk you through what issues you might be experiencing and help you out there.
Great. I also see a lot of questions about where can I find the Notion link? How do I book an appointment? Don't worry. The link to the participants guide, the Discord, has been sent in the welcome email that you may have received right after registering for the World Jam. If you haven't registered for the World Jam, you already have the link in the Zoom email that you received for this session, or the website, or even in the chat. We have Zale from AngelHack will share the link to register. Just register and receive it. And what will you have to do if you don't receive the link is either write to us on WorldJam 2023 at angelhack.com, or reach out to us on Discord saying you haven't received the link, and we'll help you with the link. But we will need you to register, because most of this information that we have, including the resources, the mentors, the judges, the criteria, all the information about the World Jam is just exclusive to participants and not publicly available, right? So please make sure you register, and yeah, we'll send you everything that you need, including the videos that are shared in this presentation today. We have a question in Korean. Stephanie, if you can help answer that.
Hi, I just had some audio difficulties. 네, 한국말로 들어온 질문이어서 한국말로 답변 드리겠습니다. 저희 제페토 스튜디오 가이드 보신 것 같아요. 질문해 주신 게, 이게 조금 저희가 패키지 업데이트를 거의 한 달에 한두 번씩 하고 있어서 제페토 패키지를 가장 최근 걸로 업데이트 해 주시고 한번 다시 실행해 보셨으면 좋겠습니다. 만약에 그 이후에도 계속 오류가 난다면 저희 디스코드 채널에 Tech Questions라는 채널이 있는데 거기에다가 문의해 주시면 됩니다. So for those who don't speak Korean, I basically told him what John said about updating the package, and also advised him to ask any follow-up tech questions that they have on our Discord channel under the tech questions channel under the creator community section.
Great. So I have one follow-up question is, do I have to form a team mandatorily, or can I go solo?
You can go solo. You guys can form teams if you'd like, but you can go solo too. We recommend working in teams because it makes you more agile. It allows you to do more in less time. It will allow you to build more complex worlds, but you can definitely go solo. There are developers that work alone. There are developers who prefer working in teams. At the end of the day, it's a personal choice. But for this event, we know the different backgrounds from our participants, and we have people who are great artists. We have people who are great programmers. We have people who are great game designers. We want to see them work together because we think, yeah, they will be able to collaborate more, but it's totally up to you. You also don't need to build a team today. You know, if later down the line you realize that you prefer to work on a team, you can do that. Or if you confirm that a team is not for you, that's fine too. But of course, if you're working on by yourself, you're probably going to be responsible for all the different specialties that John talked about. So you're going to act as a project manager, as a game designer, as an artist, as a programmer. If you think that you might not want to do that, maybe working with other people would be great. But up to you.
Nice. For now, I'm planning to go solo, but might need some design help from the ZEPETO team. Is that possible?
Yeah, reach out to the different mentors. You know, there's design experts here. If it's a game design question, you know, we have people who've worked on many different worlds and other games for other companies. We work in so many worlds that our teams build, but also our developer partners. We spend a lot of time helping developers design their worlds, and we spend time working with them when they're optimizing them. I think almost every mentor could give you input on design questions.
Okay. I have one more, which is, I'm brand new to game development. I have registered. What do I do next?
John, Mondul, I'm going to throw that one at you guys.
Yes, I think the first step is definitely take a look at the guides that we showed you today. If you just look into, set up your environment, first install Unity, install the plugin. And then secondly, go through the tutorials that you see in understanding our API. There's like a 7-video portion that basically guides you from the very beginning to like loading up that scene on your phone. So I think that's like the first step to learn that. Yep. John, is there anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think that's perfect. So just, definitely go through the participants guide for those videos and our 4-part kind of chapter series. So look at as many resources as you can. Again, we want to encourage everyone to ask as many questions as they can through the Tech Questions channel, so that we can kind of help you out in detail. It's difficult to answer any kind of in detail questions here on this call. So any kind of detailed question, please ask them on Tech Questions channel, kind of one-on-one, help you out.
So a question from the chat, right, is briefing sessions, should the presentation be conducted in Korean? Can I present in Korean?
Harish, I missed that last portion. I heard you ask, can I present in Korean? Could you repeat again the question?
Sure. Should the presentation be conducted in Korean? Can I present in Korean?
For the world submission at the end of the event? Are you referring to the video that you need to submit along with the world?
I am assuming that, but the participant can respond in the chat. Are you referring to the final submission video or the pitch video as we call it?
If it's the pitch video, we'd prefer that you submit it in English because there's different people in our company, a lot of people in our company who speak Korean, but we have a number of prizes, right? One of the prizes is People's Choice Award. It's one of our bounty prizes. So there's a $5,000 prize. The developer or the developer team that gets the most votes from the participants is gonna win. So if you submit that video in Korean, definitely people in the ZEPETO team internally, some of them are going to be able to understand the pitch video, but many of the developer participants in the World Jam won't understand it. So I think if you want to increase your odds of winning the People's Choice Award and have everyone who participates understand, we recommend doing it in English. But you know, if it's not possible, that's okay. You know, we're flexible, but definitely recommend doing it in English if possible.
Okay, we have another one. I want to learn about creating a game in ZEPETO, but there is no school for it, sadly in Korea language only.
I'm very happy they asked this question. There is no how to develop on ZEPETO school yet, but think of this event as that opportunity. It's a month-long event. We're gonna have many sessions. You can think of those sessions kind of like classes. The guides, they're your textbooks, they're the resources to go from zero ZEPETO development knowledge to 100, to publishing, monetizing worlds on ZEPETO. Get started. That's my biggest recommendation. We still have close to 2 weeks before the event begins. Use this time to your advantage to start learning ZEPETO, to learn how our Unity plugin works, follow the challenges, everything that John and Mondul presented today. This is the perfect opportunity for that. By the end of this event, everyone here should be fully capable of building and publishing worlds on ZEPETO.
Which means for the participants, if you have any questions, now is the time to post them in the chat so that we can answer them. We still have some time left in this session to help you out. But a follow-up question, right, to the ZEPETO team. Let's say I have a basic game idea that I want to try and develop using the ZEPETO platform. Should I be worried about how to monetize it or how to make money out of it through this World Jam, or should I just give it a shot and create the game in the first place?
I think that's a very good question. I think the priority for us when we work with developers is always to make worlds or games fun. And very, very often games, you know, when they start off thinking like if the first thing you're trying to answer is how am I going to make money, they don't go well, because the priority is to create something that hopefully as many people as possible want to play and want to spend a lot of time in. Once you have an idea of what's fun, the monetization piece comes on its own. Often also many games launch without any monetization features because they need to build an audience. We recommend that we're not judging for monetization. That's not part of our judging criteria. So yeah, you can think about that in the future. Your number one priority right now should be creating the most fun world, whatever genre, whatever style you want to make. Just focus on creating something that you think a lot of people, particularly a lot of people on ZEPETO, are going to spend time on and are going to have a lot of fun. If they have fun, you're going to figure out monetization after.
So through this week and the, sorry.
No, that's it.
Okay. So through this week and when the World Jam kicks off, right? Can I go to the mentors and show them my progress and get feedback or get improvement recommendations from the mentors? Is that possible?
Absolutely. We showed, John and Mondul showed today how testing works. As you're building a world, you're able to create a QR code, scan it with your phone, and immediately play that world, even if it's in progress, even if all that you can do in that world is walk, even if it's not a fully blown world with, you know, all the features, you can test it from right away. And you can test it with your team. You can share it. If you have questions for mentors, you can send them a link to that build and ask for feedback. You can say like, hey, I'm having a hard time implementing a flying mechanic, or I'm trying to build XYZ, or why is this soccer ball not moving?